In the fertile plains of Oluma village, where yam fields stretched as far as the eye could see and gossip moved faster than the wind, lived a girl named Temi. She was the third daughter of a poor basket weaver, and not someone you'd notice twice in a crowd. Her skin was sundarkened from helping in the fields, her clothes were simple, and her hair rarely adorned with beads or oils. While her sisters dazzled the village with their laughter and color, Temi moved through life like a shadow, quiet, observant, and calm. Temi had what people often called quiet eyes. They didn't sparkle with flirtation or gossip. Instead, they held stillness, the kind that made people uncomfortable because it felt like she saw more than she should. People often mistook her silence for dullness, when in truth, she was watching everything. Her two older sisters, Rita and Alero, were the pride of the family. Their mother would always say, "My stars will marry rich. You, Temi, can come live with them when they do." Rita was loud and beautiful, with a laugh like festival drums. Alero could dance like her ankles had no bones. The village boys followed them like goats to cassava peels. Temi was the one who carried firewood, fetched water, and was sent to the market with the family's last few coins. She didn't complain. Instead, she listened. She watched how the yam sellers calculated weight without a scale. She watched which traders gave honest measures and which ones pinched extra from the pile. She borrowed old, dusty books from the schoolteacher's widow and read them by moonlight. One day, the town crier arrived beating his talking drum at the village square. The villagers gathered, curious. "Hear this! Hear this!" he shouted. Chief Olamide of Egbenu Township seeks a chief steward for his estate. The position comes with land, servants, and great authority. But he wants no bribes, no favors. He seeks someone with wisdom, judgment, and practical skill. He will test all who present themselves, man or woman. That evening, Rita and Alero were electric with excitement. "This is it," Alero said. "The chance we've been waiting for." "He's looking for charm," Rita added confidently. "And no one in this village is more charming than us." Their mother clapped in agreement. "He may even fall for you and forget the steward business altogether." They spent the next few days preparing silk wrappers, perfuming their skin, and practicing clever-sounding phrases they thought would impress a chief. When Temi, in her quiet way, said she too wanted to try, her sisters erupted in laughter. "You?" Alero asked, mockingly. "Do they have a competition for fetching water?" "Go and carry our bags, at least then you'll be useful," Rita added with a smirk. Temi said nothing. On the morning of the journey, she wore her cleanest, plainest wrapper and packed a stitched notebook filled with observations and ideas she'd written over the years. The other villagers barely noticed her among the bright colors and giggles. The estate of Chief Olamide was grand, stone walls, painted gates, guards in fine robes. Contestants from many villages had gathered. There were sons of chiefs, daughters of merchants, and people dressed like they'd already won. Yet, Temi stood with her notebook and calm face, watching. The chief, a tall man with thoughtful eyes and a commanding presence, came forward with his counsel. "You will face 3 tests," he declared. 1. Negotiate a fair trade with a known dishonest merchant. 2. Resolve a land dispute between 2 families. 3. Propose a 1-page plan to increase the estate's income without raising taxes. One by one, the candidates began. Rita met the merchant and tried to charm him with laughter and flattery. Alero threatened to expose him unless he agreed to fair terms. Neither noticed he had switched out his measuring scale. Temi, when her turn came, calmly asked to use water to measure the grain weight instead. She poured grain and water into a standard clay bowl until both reached the same level. The merchant looked shocked. The chief's observers took notes. For the land dispute, most favored the wealthier family or made suggestions that pleased both sides but solved nothing. Temi listened carefully to the story of the land, then asked for the oldest man in the village, who remembered the boundaries before the families began to quarrel. She sketched the land from his memory and proposed dividing it based on historical usage and contributions to irrigation. Finally, each candidate presented their plan to improve estate wealth. Many suggested taxing the rich more or taxing the poor less, easy answers. Some quoted proverbs, hoping to sound wise. Rita even recited a poem. Temi's plan was simple but clear. She noted that many idle youths lingered near the estate, doing nothing, often getting into trouble. She proposed a tools for hire program, where the estate would rent tools for farming, carpentry, and sewing at low cost. Those who used the tools would pay a small fee after selling their products. The estate would earn money steadily, and skills would spread across the region. Fewer idle hands, more trade, better morale. That night, the chief and his council deliberated for hours. The next morning, everyone gathered beneath the large Iroko tree at the center of the compound. The chief stepped forward. Only one among you, he began, completed all 3 tasks with clarity, justice, and vision. Not loud words. Not beauty. Not charm. But substance. Whispers rippled through the crowd. That person, he announced, is Temi, daughter of the weaver from Oluma. Who? Someone asked. That girl, another said. Rita and Alero looked frozen, mouths open, unable to speak. The chief continued, from this day, Temi shall serve as chief steward. She will oversee estate affairs, lead our new education and trade initiatives, and advise my council. As Temi stepped forward, she bowed respectfully. The chief added, you have shown us that power does not always arrive in a loud voice. Sometimes, it wears quiet eyes and carries a notebook. Temi returned to Oluma in a fine horse-drawn cart. The village nearly collapsed in disbelief. Her mother came running to meet her, speechless. I never knew you had such power, she stammered. You taught me to walk, Temi said gently. And I paid attention to everything you thought I didn't notice. From that day on, people treated her differently. Those who had once overlooked her now sought her advice. Mothers sent their daughters to her for lessons, not in sewing or cooking, but in thinking. She taught them how to observe, how to speak with purpose, and how to carry themselves with quiet dignity. As for Rita and Alero, they eventually married traveling traders, not poor, not rich. They told stories at festivals, exaggerated memories, and tried to forget how their silent sister had risen above them without ever raising her voice. And though Temi never rubbed it in, she never had to. Her story became part of Oluma's memory, the girl with quiet eyes who taught a whole village to listen differently. Young adults happy to help with that too.